Boom. Keep them coming.
What's going on, everyone? Bobbybarks here, and welcome back to my FM23 series here on YouTube. This is the Chelsea English Challenge, and we are in episode 5, season 5. We've played 4 seasons so far, and the goal of this series is to buy and play English players only for Chelsea, and for England to win the World Cup with at least 50% of the Chelsea squad in the England squad. Now, originally I set myself 10 episodes to do this, which would give me 3 World Cups, I think, to try and achieve that overarching goal. But something happened in between episode 4 and episode 5. There was a World Cup, and Roberto Mancini, as the England manager, has won the World Cup with England. So, what I'm going to do is start right there. So I'm going to take you through England's results and their journey through the World Cup to the final. Now, for whatever reason, and I don't know if this is actually going to happen in the 2026 World Cup, which has been hosted by USA, Canada and Mexico, they only play 2 group games. So there's only 3 teams in the group, and the top 2 qualify. Bizarre. So England played Chile and Qatar and drew their first game with Chile and then beat Qatar 4-0. So you can see, the results at the bottom of the screen there. England play Canada in the second round and they absolutely thumped them 4-0. 30 shots, 12 on target. World Cup third round, you've got the England squad on the page here. And they beat Ghana 5-0, 25 shots, 12 on target. World Cup quarter-final, they're playing against Colombia and they win 3-0. I find it extremely ludicrous that Phil Foden's playing as the striker, by the way. So England get through to the semi-finals where they play the mighty Norway, and they got a 4-1 win. Well, it's the old arch-nemesis Germany, and England won 2-1. See, that's all they needed, just an Italian in charge. Foden's playing striker again in the World Cup final. Bizarre. We've got Rashford and Saka, obviously 2 Chelsea players. Bellingham, Chelsea player. And they went with Chalobah in the DM role. They went with Chilwell and James as fullbacks. Tamori is playing centre-backs. Ben White gets the nod as the other centre-back over Stones. And Ramsdale plays in goal. So out of all, there's 8 Chelsea players in the starting 11. So quite impressive that, we've achieved this much quicker than I thought we would achieve. I definitely thought we'd need the 3rd World Cup, and I definitely thought I'd need to be the England manager for this to happen. But, Mancini's taken over from Southgate. He's managed to win the World Cup, so, England as the AI has won the World Cup. And they've won it with, way more than 50% of the Chelsea team in it. So I thought it was going to be a difficult challenge, but we've essentially achieved it by the end of season 4. But I am going to do the season 5 for you. So there will be a season 5. I will go through it with you now and show you what we've done, and we'll do some live comms again at the end as per normal. Because there has been a few changes to the squad. I think just before I go into the Chelsea squad and the forthcoming season, probably just worth pointing out the award winners. So Bukayo Saka won Best Player award, Rashford was 2nd, and Raheem Sterling was 3rd. So England took, the full sweep of best players, and the first 2, Sterling left obviously, but the first 2 were Chelsea players, and the 3rd was an ex-Chelsea player. So yeah, and the dream team, okay, Sterling and Lukaku are up top, but Rashford, Bellingham, Saka, James, Tamori, Chilwell, Ramsdale. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Chelsea players in the dream team for the World Cup 2026. So not only did England win the World Cup with more than 50% of the team in, the dream team for the World Cup also consists more than 50% of Chelsea players. Okay, so I'm going to start with the transfer outs first, because the ins are a little bit exciting. But transfers out, Mark Guehi left. So he was a Chelsea graduate in real life. He left and went to Crystal Palace. On the FM23 save that we're playing, at the end of season 1, Crystal Palace were relegated. I brought him back to Chelsea. not necessarily as a backup, but as a squad player that could rotate in to cover off from Tomori. But it's just not quite worked out for him. He's only played 38 times in 3 seasons, which is not a great deal. He's not developed as much as I'd have hoped. And he was getting to 26 years old as he is. He was occasionally getting in the England squad, but Bayern Munich came in with a £50 million bid, and £50 million for a backup that wasn't contributing really to that challenge in the England squad. So I'll let him go. 50 million, decent income. Michael Elise also left and also went to Germany, but this one went to Borussia Dortmund. Again, he was part of that Crystal Palace team that were relegated, that, you know, pillaged for those 3 key players to flesh out the Chelsea squad with English talent. I had high hopes for Elise, and, you know, if you recall, I had Marcus Edwards, who was fantastic in season 1, and then when I brought Elise in, Edwards didn't really get a look in, so Edwards was sold. Elise, I think I said to you in season 4, he wouldn't sign a new contract. He had 1 year left on his deal. He would sign a new contract, but only if I were going to pay him like 250 grand a week. And I didn't want to make that mistake again. He's got good stats. I think he'd have developed if he could have got more game time with me. But I wasn't going to pay him those kind of wages. I didn't want to lose him for nothing. Dortmund came in with 20 million. I'll let him go. Callum Hudson-Odoi. I'd have liked to have kept him, but again, he was being paid £200,000 a week, and he wasn't even second choice, really, on that left wing. I'd brought Rashford in. I've got that youngster, Tariq Goodridge, that's very, very good. Comes in and does good jobs when I need him to. So I was, you know, Hudson-Odoi for 200 grand a week. I just let him go. So he went to Inter Milan for 18 million. Tommy Doyle left us, brought him in for free last year, played him about 2 or 3 times. Like I said, he were only an emergency backup. Notts Forest have been promoted. They came in for about 11.75 million, wanted him, so like, nice little profit, off you go. It was time to move the Ox on. He was getting old, it wasn't really playing much, and again, Forest, just promoted, came in with 8.5 million, so more wages off the books, so I just let him go. So in terms of ins, Harvey Elliott has joined us from Liverpool. He's a very good player in the game. I think he'll be a very good player in real life as he gets more game time. But look at his stats. He's very good, and he can play anywhere really across the middle or the front 3, apart from striker. But yeah, he's got very good stats, and he can just rotate with Saka. He's young. He's worth now between 140 and 155 million. But yeah, he's better than Elise, an upgrade, I would say. Jack Grealish was transfer listed for 25 million, so I bought him. I think he's an upgrade on Oxlade-Chamberlain. So yeah, Oxlade-Chamberlain left. I brought in Jack Grealish. Alex Scott is a funny one, is Alex Scott. He starts off at Bristol City in real life in the game, and he's one of those players that I always try and buy. And I tried to buy him in this, but he went to Man City. So Man City signed him for like 7.75 million. And I just thought then, I'm never going to get him. He was worth 60, 70 million, something like that. It was, you know, I was never going to buy him for that. It was always going to be a squad player for me if I ever bought him. But he was transfer listed at Man City. They wanted shit of him. And I got him for about 8 million. So I'll just jump forward to the end of the transfer window. So we've played 3 games. We've got to the end of the August transfer window. A couple more players out and another player in. So I'll just run through those with you. I managed to offload Soon-Suk Bell. I got about 4.3 million or something for him. He's gone to Stoke, who I think are playing in the Championship. So I think that'll just good for him, good for me really. He's not going to play. He's not developed as quickly as I'd hoped or into the first choice, first teamer that I'd hoped. So yeah, moved him on, and you know, good luck to him. Brozier has finally left the club permanently. It's one of these players that I've just not been able to move on. Wesley Fofana is another one. I'll come on to him in a bit, but Brozier's finally left permanently. I only got 1.8 million for him, but he was paid £75,000 a week, so we got him off the wages, and yeah, finally gone from the club. Wesley Fofana. For some reason, I've just not been able to move this kid on permanently. He's played 12 games for me in that first season, but he didn't play particularly well. He is a very good player on FM23, and if I was playing the game properly, I definitely wouldn't have loaned him out or even tried to sell him. He'd have been part of the first team squad. But he's not English, he is French. I've tried my damnedest to sell him. I don't want to sell him for peanuts because I know whoever I sell him to, he will become a high value player and a very good player. So I have tried to get his asking price rather than sell him on the cheap. He is paid like £230,000 a week, but I think for the last 3 seasons, I didn't do it with Juventus, but certainly Napoli and then the 2 loans at Atletico Madrid, I think I'm getting 90% of his wages covered. When he went to Madrid last season, there was a option to buy him for 50 million, which they didn't take up. They've asked to loan him again. This time I think it's round about 50 million again, but it's broken over 2 things. So there's instalments, and then there's an upfront fee and some performance related payments in there. So hopefully he'll just go at the end of the season permanently. But yeah, I just really struggled to move him on. Last transfer signing in, and it was just a deadline day emergency backup deal, really. I know we've got Ramsdale as the first choice. We've got Ted Kurd there as a young upcoming English keeper who's very good. But I just brought him in for additional cover, really. Third choice keeper, but he brings a ton of experience. He is fairly good on the game. He's got decent stats still despite his age. So yeah, he can do a job as and when we need him. So 3 games in, we've won all 3. And we've beaten one of our bogey teams. So we beat Wolves 4-2 in the latest game. We opened up to a win against Brighton. We beat Tottenham 5-0 away, which was a fantastic result and performance. So very, very strong start to the league campaign. We also beat Liverpool in the Community Shield. So we've picked up our first piece of silverware for this season. Champions League draw is looking very tough, though. We're at home to PSG, fairly confident about that. Home to Salzburg, confident. Away to Montpellier, confident. Away to Porto, away to Roma, away to Milan. There's some tough away games, and then home to Celtic and home to Shakhtar. I think the home games, other than PSG, I'm confident we'll win the other 3. Whereas the others, Montpellier is really the only one I'm confident will win, but the 3 away games, Porto, Roma, Milan, all tough fixtures. So I've jumped all the way to the end of the January transfer window. There's been some more ins and outs, so I'm going to go through those with you first, and then I'll show you the fixtures and the results that we've had. So first player that's left is Faustino Angerin, Chelsea graduate. He's done alright for me when he's played. He's not been too bad, to be fair. But literally with all these players that I brought in now, like Grealish, Alex Scott, Ebery Eze, he's just not getting a look in at all. He was paid £150,000 a week. His contract was up within a year. He wanted £200,000 a week, and I just thought, well, it's time to move him on. I only got $2.5 million for him. Johnny Stones has left. With Dorrington and Colwill coming back from their loans, Stones was on £200,000 a week. I've kind of achieved that. England winning the World Cup challenge, so I didn't really need him anymore. He wasn't a regular player. I've always gone with Tamori and Chalabar as my first choice centre-backs. And then I've got Dorrington, I've got Levi Colwill. We've got some very good youngsters in the academy to come through. And I also loan in another centre-back just to give me that extra cover as well. But yeah, he wasn't really needed, so I've let him go. Napoli wanted him 25 million or something like that, so off he trots. I brought Callum Doyle in as the loan centre-back. Man City wanted to loan him out. He is very good. He develops into a very, very good centre-back. In other saves where I've gone further than this, like 2030, 2033 type years, he's first choice England centre-back. He's first choice for Man City. He's a good player in the game. I've loaned him in. He's not going to get much game time for me, but he's there if I need him. Oliver Skipp was transfer listed at Tottenham, and the only reason I bought him was because I didn't really have an out-and-out ball-winning midfielder other than Jude Bellingham, and when he's missing, the only other player that can play there is Gallagher. But normally I'll play Bellingham and Gallagher together in centre midfield because they just work really well together, and the team feels much stronger with those two at centre mid. So in order to be able to rest Gallagher when I'm resting Bellingham and Gallagher doesn't get fatigued, I thought I needed another defensive midfielder. I could play Chalobah there as well, but he's normally in my first 11 at centre back. So I brought in Oliver Skipp just to provide some cover there. And he's a good player in the game. He's a decent player in real life. I think he'll be develop into a decent centre midfielder for Tottenham under the right coaching. So this is the striker I brought in. I bought him from Wolves, who are our bogey team. Look how much he's worth, by the way. 247 to 290 million. I bought him for 125 million, potentially rising to 150. But he is world class now. I know his media description is wonder kid, but he's world class now. And Abraham has been a pain in my arse this season. It was unhappy because we didn't win a domestic trophy last season. Won the Premier League, kid. What's wrong with you? But because we didn't win the FA Cup or the League Cup, he's been unhappy all summer. His Abraham's contract was up in 2028, and he wouldn't sign a new deal. There was also a point in the season where he got injured, but I could have given him some injections to get him through the next game. I think the next game was like away to Man City or something like that. It was a very important game, so I wanted to give him the injections just so I could play him in the important game, and he kicked off. He refused the injection and was unhappy with me. He didn't think he could work with me. Blah, 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 blah. So I brought Warmington in with the intention that Abraham would leave in the near future. So, in terms of League Cup, we went out in the fourth round. We drew Man City away. It's just one of them things. I think we beat them away in one of the previous seasons. It might have been season 2 or something like that with a reserve team. I tried to play a strongish team because, with this being the last season, I kind of wanted to go for everything. Wanted to try and win everything. But yeah, they were just too strong on the day and they beat us. I'm a bit disappointed, but they finished second to me in the last 2 seasons, the second best team behind us. In fact, they're pretty much as good as us. So drawing them away was just unlucky. So in terms of the Champions League, the only game we lost was a 4-2 away defeat to Roma. So it wasn't too bad. It could have been a lot worse. We drew 0-0 with PSG, which I was fairly happy with. We beat Salzburg 4-0, went to Montpellier 1-6-0, beat Porto away 3-0. And at this point, I'm thinking we're 4 games in, we've not even conceded a goal, we're doing fantastic. And then we got smashed by Rome, which was all a bit strange. I did play a fairly second 11. I didn't play the first 11. I think we had some other important games around that time. So, given how we'd gone, I was happy to field a reserve team, if you like. But yeah, we got smashed. I don't even know if Mourinho's still in charge there, but yeah, smashed us. But following that, we went to Milan, 1-0, and then beat Celtic and Shakhtar at home. The eagle eyes of you all will have seen that we were top of the Premier League, and we're top quite comfortably. We're 9 points clear. We've only lost 1 game, which I think was away to Man City. Yes, 3-2. So not only did we lose to them away in the League Cup, we lost away to them in the league. It's been his only defeat. We've had 3 draws, which have all been away from home. Southampton bogey team, did us, didn't they, in the League Cup for 2 seasons running, despite getting relegated. And we've drawn away at Liverpool and Man United, which I can take. I don't mind that at all. And we've won 20 games and won a lot of them quite comfortably. I mean, that's 6-0 home win against Man United. I think they had a player sent off again, like they did in that 7-1 win we had that time. So yeah, we're comfortably top. But can we stay there? Well, we can stay there, but only by the skin of his teeth. I say by the skin of his teeth. We're 4 points clear with 2 games left. And his next game is at home to Liverpool, which I'm going to do as a live com for you, because if we win that, we win the league. At one point, we were 15 points clear. And we've just had a very terrible time of it over the last few weeks. We had such a good run. So we obviously lost that game to Man City, 3-2. And then after that, we had an absolute fabulous run. And then we get to April. And what did I say to you in the last video? We get to April, in every save, on every game I've played of FM, and my players just get so tired that they just can't string 2 games together. Now, the reason why I lost these 2 games, you'll see from the team I've put out here, could actually be considered a third 11, could this, with the squad that we've got at the minute. But, yeah, we fielded a weakened team for both these games. And the reason why I did it is because we were 15 points clear. And I was trying to prioritise our Champions League run. So we lost those 2 games. Following that, we didn't have some bad results. You know, we beat Newcastle 2-0. I think I fielded a full strength team for this because we had a bit of a break from Europe. So yeah, we won there 2-0. Everton, still managed by Frank Lampard, let me tell you. That's quite important, but I'll tell you about that in a bit. We drew away with Everton, which I'm a bit frustrated with, considering Harry Winks and James Garner scored against me. And then we beat Fulham 2-1 with 2 Harvey Elliott goals. Again, got a fairly reserve 11 out. So I'm thinking, we've put these 2 defeats behind us. We should have a comfortable run into the end of the season for us to get the Premier League title back at Stamford Bridge. Then we lost 2-1 away to Brighton. I think this is a slightly better team than the one that beat Fulham. But nevertheless, we lost away to Brighton. And then I have absolutely no idea. No idea. How can you lose 8-0 to Wolves? I know, I've said it all along, Southampton and Wolves, and I think at the start of the series, Arsenal have always been our bogey teams. Liverpool in the cup competitions as well. So those 4 teams, you could probably count Man City in this as well, because we've played them a lot and we've won some, we've lost some, but I don't generally count the big 6 or the other big 6 clubs, the other 5 clubs that are part of the big 6 with Chelsea. I don't generally count them as bogey teams because I think they're all capable of beating each other. But the big 6 should be comfortably beating the other teams in the Premier League, or at least picking up points away from home. But for whatever reason, Wolves and Southampton are just 2 of my bogey teams. I think West Ham were as well, weren't they, in the first couple of seasons? But they've dropped off now. I comfortably beat them home and away. Wolves have just taken over that. But yeah, just don't know. 8-0. So for this game, considering Arsenal were second, so at this point, there's 3 games left, and Arsenal are 1 point behind me. Having a 15-point lead, they've caught me up. So here, I had a 15-point lead, and then I've dropped 3, 6, 8, 11, 14 points. So they must have won all their games, because at this point, they're 1 point behind me. And I thought, I need to field a full strength 11 here, otherwise they're gonna beat me. I've just lost 8-0 to Wolves. If I field that team against Arsenal, it's going to be tragic. So I fielded a full strength 11 despite what was happening in other competitions, to make sure we got the win. So we did. We won 3-0. We've got 4 points clear now. 2 games left. Liverpool at home's the next game. I'm hoping the boys turn it on and we claim the title against Liverpool. That'd be nice. If not, it's away to Leicester, which is a banana skin. So we need to win the home game against Liverpool. So in terms of the FA Cup, we've had a fairly easy run through to the final. I think we've got an easy game in the final, but it is Frank Lampard. So like I said to you earlier, Frank Lampard still managing Everton. hopefully doesn't come to haunt his old team. The question is, can we do a treble? Because we're also in the Champions League final. That Inter Milan game was unreal. Absolutely unreal. So we lost that 2-0. I had a strong team out. And this is why I started prioritising some of these games here. And given the opposition we were playing, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, it doesn't get much tougher than that. I need to talk you through this game because this was just unreal. So we'd lost 2-0, hadn't we, in Milan. We're then playing at home, and I'm thinking if we can get an early goal, this we'll be fine. Inter Milan got the early goal. I'm 3-0 down, and I'm thinking, oh goodness me. Rashford equalises 24 minutes. We get to half time, it's 1-1. I'm thinking, right, we just need to go for it. And we were playing really well. Very well. Saka scores in the 63rd minute. Abraham's had a goal disallowed, by the way, in the 59th minute. Saka scores in the 63rd minute to make it 2-1. And I'm thinking, all right, we just need one more goal. We just need one more goal. We got it in the 94th minute. 94th minute. Saka gets the equaliser to take it to extra time. Mason Mount scores in extra time. I'm winning the leg in extra time, and I'm thinking, oh my God. And then Rashford at the death scores again to make it 5-1 on the night after extra time. It was just one of them games in Football Manager where I just couldn't believe what I was seeing in front of me. I thought I was out. Thought I was absolutely out. It made a great live com because I'd have been off this chair and running around topless. But you don't want to see that. Here we are against Liverpool, and we kicked off. We're at home. I've got the strongest 11 out I could possibly have out. There's a few tired legs that might go against us, but I really wanted to field the strongest team. I didn't, want to play any of the reserve 11. I think if we can get the 3 points here and claim the title, I can then rest players in the last game of the season for the FA Cup final and the Champions League final. So yeah, I really just want to get the league over the line. I think then winning the league 3 seasons in a row is a fantastic achievement, and we've not that penalty. I think Mason Mount is still on penalty taking duties, by the way. We've not blitzed the league by gaining massive amounts of points. We've won it with fairly little points. Get in there. 25th goal of the season for Mason Mount. He's had a wonderful season. I think this has been his best season because I think he's got loads of assists as well. But we've had such an amazing, those 3 that play in behind the striker. When you think about the players that have been able to play there, we've got Mount, Saka, Rashford, Grealish, and Grealish can play in any of those 3. So when I've needed to rest one of them, Saka. So when I've needed to rest one of them, he's just come in. And then we've got like Harvey Elliott, we've got Tariq Goodridge, Curtis Jones is still there, Eze is still there. We've got an abundance of talent that can come in. I've been really fortunate with some of the players that I've been able to buy. The finances are knackered, by the way. So, let's go for it in this second half. Liverpool have been the better side, actually. We've only had 1 shot on target. I know they've only had 2, but they've had the majority of the shots. Passing's been far better from Liverpool. Possession's been better from Liverpool. We've been pretty poor, really. Fortunate to be 1-0 up. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that would have been such a good goal. Oh, it was offside anyway. That would have been an amazing goal. Carve them open. Luke Thomas, by the way, Chilwell's been out injured. He's got injured for like 3 months or something like that. Luke Thomas has been fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I'd recommend him as a player. Come on, Saka. Smash it in from distance. That's a great ball in from Gallagher. He's been a great servant for me as well, Conor Gallagher. I speak his name and he gets bloody injured. So, who do we bring on in here? I've gone with Curtis Jones because I'm hoping he can just do it against his former club. I don't really want to make any other substitutions. Players are getting really tired. 6 minutes of stoppage time. Come on. Come on. That's got to be it. That is it. 3 seasons in a row. Enjoy the celebrations, lads. We are Premier League winners again. Alright, we're just jumping in here. I've just made a triple substitution. We are 3-0 up. A 3-1 up. We've weathered a bit of a storm, if I'm perfectly honest. We don't deserve this scoreline. We've been clinical in front of goal. You know, we've taken our chances very well, but Everton have been the better side. Look at the stats on the left there. You know, more possession, more passes completed, more attempts. How we were 3-0 up, I've no idea. Like I say, we were just clinical in front of goal. Mount, Abraham, I think, and Rashford. But I brought all 3 of them off, and I've put Goodridge, Warmington and Eze on. I kind of wanted to rest those 3 key players for the Champions League final, so this... Oh God, I was offside. This one's in the bag, so we've done a domestic double, and yeah, hopefully we can win the Champions League against Manchester City. It's being played at Old Trafford as well, which is ironic. So yeah, hopefully we can do the treble. So here we are, picking up the FA Cup. Domestic double. It's a nice way to go out if we don't win the Champions League, but you know, the Champions League will be the icing on the cake for us to go out after 5 seasons at Chelsea. Okay, here we are for the Champions League final. Love the music. I think I've said it before when we did the Champions League final in season 1, and we had the music on. It feels beautiful to listen to. Kai Havertz is playing up front for Manchester City. Hopefully doesn't come back to haunt us. I don't know where Haaland is. He must be out injured, which is a good thing. So 2 English teams in the final, and we are playing at an English ground. So we're playing at Old Trafford, so it hasn't been far for Manchester City to travel to. Ironically, Erik ten Hag has just been sacked as Manchester United manager, and I am half tempted to apply for that and try and do a bit of a rebuild in this Chelsea English Challenge universe that we've built. I had a look at the squad and it's absolutely terrible, and they finished 6th place, and they've only got a couple of decent players in the whole squad. It's a bit of a shambles there, if I'm perfectly honest. So it feels like it would be a challenge to rebuild Man United inside this universe. I'm intending to do that off camera, but let me know in the comments section if it's something you'd like to see. I'm not guaranteed to get the job if I apply for it, but yeah, let me know if you'd want to see that. Oh my God, what a fantastic finish from Tammy Abraham, and we are 1-0 up after just a little bit over half an hour. I've started Conor Gallagher, but he is not 100% fit. But like I've said before, I just really wanted my best players out on there. And Gallagher and Bellingham in the centre of midfield do play very well together. Luke Thomas. Oh, God, Abraham. If you'd have made it 2 just before half time, that'd have been fantastic. No, Theo, no. Nice interception. Cancelo. Scalvini. This is all a bit too much. I don't like it when the highlight goes on for too long, particularly when Manchester City have possession. Oh, it's a great win there from Saka, though. No, Gallagher's... Yeah, Abraham's through. He's 2-0. Tammy Abraham has made it 2-0. There's still a long way to go, but this is a great advantage. Yeah, what I intended to do, one way or another, at the end of season 5, now that we've completed the challenge, is to resign from Chelsea. And I did want to do like a bonus episode for you and show you what the team was like 5 seasons in the future. And oh no, Havertz is coming back to haunt me. 5 seasons in the future and then 10 seasons in the future. And just have a look at some of these kids that have come through the Chelsea youth intakes, like Tariq Goodridge, and just see if he has developed into that world-class star that we expect him to. And Leighton Warmington, that I bought in January from Wolves for 125 million, see what he turns out like. There's a kid called Costa Paris that's just recently declared for Greece. He was like a Greek-English dual nationality, but he's declared for Greece. And yeah, he looks a very, very good talent as well. Oh yes, Tammy Abraham, is that a hat-trick? That is a hat-trick in a Champions League final for Tammy Abraham. So yeah, so 2 choices there. Let me know which one you'd prefer. Do you want me to just do a bonus episode that shows you like 5 seasons and then 10 seasons? Or do you want me to do a Man United rebuild inside this universe? Let me know. I've got a couple of ideas for a couple of other saves as well. Some things that I want to do on FM23. I would really like to do like a journeyman save for you, so I start at a really low ranked club somewhere in the world, and then just, you know, try and move around different clubs every 2 or 3 seasons and do a bit of a journeyman around the world, pop up at various clubs with a view to getting to bigger and better clubs, eventually finishing off at a top European club or something like that. I'd like to do that at some point. But I wouldn't mind doing a rebuild as well, and whether that's Manchester United in this universe or whether we do it with a different team from the start of the original FM23 starting point. Oh, Camavinga. He's made it 3-2. There's 90 seconds left. Come on. Come on, you've gone well over, ref. We finished with a treble. That is the icing on the cake. We finished how we started. Season 1 we won the Champions League and nothing else. Season 5 we won the Champions League and everything else. Just fantastic, you know, treble winning team. I don't think there's a better way to go out. England won the World Cup with more than 50% of the Chelsea squad in it. More than 50% of the Chelsea team in the World Cup Dream 11 as well. Just Chelsea English Challenge. Completed it, mate. And this is the Man United squad, and it's very poor. You know, Jadon Sancho and Bruno Fernandes are still there, but they've still got players like Wan-Bissaka, Christian Eriksen's knocking on, Casadei, somebody I sold to them, but he's transferred, going out. Jordan Pickford's there, Luke Shaw's there, Anthony's there, Divine Wrench. You know, it's not a good team, not a good squad at all. I don't really know what's happened to it. Bruno's just let it go down pan. They've got Eric Garcia, like I said, Divine Wrench, Lazio Lens, a decent player. Goncalo Ramos, whenever I've had him, he's been terrible. It's not a good team. It needs a complete overhaul, and I wouldn't mind. I'm going to do that off camera anyway. I'm going to apply for this job and see if I can do a rebuild of Man United off camera. But let me know in the comments if you want me to show that on YouTube for you. If not, I'll just show you a bonus video from this, showing you what Chelsea's like 5, 10, 15 years time. But that is it for the Chelsea English Challenge. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate the view. Please do leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the series. Leave a like if you've liked the series. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one. Bye for now.